Welcome, members of the Sworn Club and others. This is the monthly Sworn Club raffle. Right behind me is some goodies, and we're going to give them out to current Sworn Club members. You might be watching this and saying, who the heck are you? My name is Brian Pulido. I'm the proud publisher of Coffin Comics. We publish supernatural comic book titles, including Lady Death, La Muerta, Hell Witch, Lady Satanus, and others. This is R-rated stuff targeted towards adults. Not for you, no problem. For you, come on board. Now today, this is a program of the Sworn Club, and the Sworn Club has some advantages. First of all, you get your welcome kit, which includes things like a membership badge, a membership card, I could speak, and other cool goodies. Also, you get a 24-hour advantage on all Coffin Comics news, and you get a 1-hour advantage on the great majority of the Sworn Coffin Comic Shop offerings. I want to welcome people to the stream. Thank you very much. Right on. Solomon, fantastic. He's excited for the Evil Ernie Omnibus. That's something that we could talk about a little bit today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give away some goodies to existing Sworn Club members who are in this comic book box. Here's everybody. Quick look, quick look. We're going to mix them up. And let's pull the first one, shall we? Right off the bat. All right, what do we got? We're playing for this cool Sora Song Lady Death Hell Witch image, this Monty Moore Lady Death image, and this Diego Bernard Insurrectus image, along with a bunch of swag. So let's see what lucky active Sworn Club member is going to get that. And I won't say the whole name, but it is Zach F. Zach F. If you are a current Sworn Club member, then check it out. These goodies are for you. So talk about some other things too. And I was on a stream earlier with Lady Death Primordial Havoc, so I'll talk a little less about her. But I will let you know that I think is it me or is tomorrow Friday the 13th? I think it is. So we're launching an all new promotion on Coffin Comic Shop. I think that one's called Virtues and Vices. I think so. The reason why I say I think is because I spend so much of my time 4 to 6 to 18 months in advance. I've worked on this stuff a long time ago. It's like, what are we doing now? So yeah, we're doing Virtues and Vices. We got some really beautiful work on that one. So I encourage you to check it out at coffincomicsshop.com starting Friday at 9 a.m. Let's see here. I want to welcome folks to the stream. Thank you so much. And well, heck, let's give another goodie away, shall we? So what we're playing for this time around is, oh, that's cool, the rare black variant of Treacherous Infamy by Diego Bernard, Murat Michaels Spawn homage, and a Joel Gomez La Muerta edition. Oh yeah, speaking of Joel Gomez, Lady Gunfighter coming up in May. Super cool. With a backup story featuring the first appearance of Old West La Muerta. What? What? Are we trying to say that there was a La Muerta 150 years ago? There's some eternal quality to this character? I don't know. You're going to have to read it to find out. All right. The next lucky Sworn Club member is Richard M. Richard M., thank you so much, Richard M. Right on. Thanks for being a Sworn Club member. The next thing I'd like to talk about is upcoming, the Evil Ernie Omnibus series, brought to you by yours truly and Dynamite. It's true. Hell has frozen over. We have teamed up with Dynamite, and we are bringing to life the entire classic Chaos Comics library of the 90s, starting with the Omega event, Evil Ernie. This will be a campaign that is quite robust on Kickstarter, and the main fulcrum of the event will be 3-volume omnibus, volume 1, 2, 3, about 500 pages apiece, 1,500 pages grand total, a main edition, a signed special edition, and a super deluxe edition, all offered at the same time. Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3. But that's not all, folks. We are going to be featuring an all-new contemporary artist on a representation of Evil Ernie Youth Gone Wild #1. And let me say this. This artist is bananas. And I found myself yesterday actually as the art director writing some concepts for this artist who's amazing. You will know, it's fair to say your mind will be blown. And I'm writing it and I realize, I'm like, holy mackerel, this is the first time I've written an Evil Ernie cover description for an artist in over 25 years. Whoa, fun. So I think you're going to like that. And then we're also going to have other merch. I think on this campaign, we'll have coins. We'll have a patch set. Got to have an Evil Ernie patch set, right? And other things. Apparel for sure. Possibly a cool trading card set. So stay tuned for that. Let's see here. Hello King says, I'm getting the Purgatory Omnibus when it comes. So the Purgatory Omnibus will also include Chastity in that series. I think Purgatory had about 700 or 800 pages. Chastity around 400 pages. So something like that. All right. Let's pick our third. And then we're going to go to a video. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some pop culture stuff. So third person, and we're playing for the following. La Muerta, Lady Satanus Homage of Son of Satan, and the beautiful Eternal Image by Mike Crone. And that person is Daryl K. Oh, yeah. And Joseph is on the stream saying, Evil Ernie is back. That's right. 90s Evil Ernie is back. All right, folks, this is a fun program. It will continue. Check out this video when I get back. Let's just get into some pop culture Q&A. Get your questions ready, everybody. Thank you. Hi, I'm Brian Pulido, creator of Lady Death, and I'm excited to present an all-new 48-page original graphic novel entitled Lady Death Primordial Havoc. A mysterious tragedy strips away Lady Death's magic and thrusts her into a world of primeval brutality. In a heartbeat, the deadliest warrior witch the underworld has ever known becomes something no one ever expected: prey. Now, Lady Death must butcher her way through prehistoric monstrosities and sadistic cannibals who hunt her at every turn. Can she escape the unrelenting ferocity of this ferocious land, or will she become lost forever within its jungle hell? Witness Lady Death as you've never seen her before. Wild, remorseless, savage. Please back our campaign now and tell everyone you know. Thanks so much, everybody. Welcome, everybody, and welcome to this other section of the Monthly Sworn Club, which is called Beer with Brian, where I rarely, if ever, drink beer, and today I'm drinking. So I encourage you in the stream, if you're attending, to ask me some questions related to Coffin Comics. And in the meantime, I'm going to give you some pop culture ruminations and stuff that I've been watching and enjoying. So the first thing, I saw a movie a couple weeks ago called Vincent Must Die. Now, this was a French film, and the premise was kind of simple, but it really, really snowballs. So here's this guy, Vincent, is kind of an office drone graphic designer. And for almost no reason at all, one of his coworkers straight up locks in on him and attempts to murder him. They think it's a fluke. They think it's like an office thing. Okay. Next day, Vincent comes back into work. And the guy he works with, who's always gotten along, suddenly just gets a look in his eyes after he locks eyes with Vincent, breaks out a pencil, and it's just attempting to stab him. Well, long story short, for whatever reason, in what's going on in the storyline, when Vincent makes eye contact with some people, they want to kill him. As the story progresses, and it certainly progresses, Vincent has to get out of the city. He meets a person like him. They call themselves Sentinels, and this guy advises him. He must get a dog because a dog can scent the people who go after him, and he has to avoid people at all costs. Of course, that wasn't easy. In the second act, there's a love story introduced, and it goes through just a lot of wonderful twists and turns. So I definitely recommend this film. There are surprising elements to it. The third act, it really explodes and goes bananas, and I don't want to miss it for you, but that's my pop culture recommendation. In the meantime, I'm going to see if anybody has a question. Let's see here. Oh, so related to the former stream, we were talking about the Evil Ernie Omnibus series. And you guys and gals out there, if you're watching, are welcome to ask me any questions about that as well. We are hard at work on it. In fact, today we submitted, myself and graphic designer Mike Flippin submitted to Dynamite our designs for what the covers of the omnibus should look like, because they've actually entrusted us with that element of the project. So that's pretty exciting. I'd like to think that what we're going to pull off looks good, but we'll wait for some input from our partners on this project, and I'm sort of excited. I also mentioned on the previous stream that we've hired a really outrageous artist to do a cover for a variant edition of Evil Ernie Youth Gone Wild #1. So we want to have that on the campaign as well. And I was delighted to write those words, giving art direction and cover theme ideas to this artist, and realizing this is the first time I kind of wrote a cover concept for Evil Ernie in 25 plus years. Definitely feels like second nature, because let's admit, Evil Ernie's just been ruminating in my head for all that time. So let's see here. Will we see La Muerta and Lady Satanis get collector boxes? Well, I think we should. If we haven't, that's almost criminal of us. So should we? Let us know. We'll do it. Mosh Pit Matt, welcome back. We do have coming up we are right now in the middle of our first Coffin launch for the season, which is Lady Death Primordial Havoc. And if you haven't gotten in on that one, I encourage you to do it. Next up in April is Empress Death, Epitaph for Humanity. That's written by myself and Mike McLean with art by Ediano Silva. You might remember his art from Lady Death Savage Reign. And if you guys and gals out there embrace it and enjoy it, I would be very happy to write Empress Death's story for years to come. Because I actually want to write Lady Death's story. I'd like to write Empress Death's story, and I'd love to see them collide again a couple years in the future. When will Hellsinger get an action figure? Well, Omega, thank you for asking. He is not currently slated for an action figure, but if you make your voice heard, I'm sure people would kind of respond to it. We have some very interesting action figure stuff coming up shortly. We actually have 6 new action figures in a brand new format coming at you, and I think you will enjoy them. They're retro style. Let's see here. So Mosh Pit Matt says, will we get any Tucson Comic-Con guest drops prior to Fan Fusion? Absolutely, Mosh Pit. You'll probably start seeing announcements beginning in the next couple of weeks. I actually signed a really interesting classic artist today, and offers are out to many, many. So, but yeah, we made an agreement with a silver bronze creator who really isn't on the scene a lot. We're kind of able to put it, and we're checking. It's on. Oh, just do it this way. We're going to see. Hello, hello. I am trying to speak. Let's give me some feedback if you hear me. And if you're not, let's go. Okay, I guess we're back. All right, cool. Not sure what happened there. We're kind of rugged on our material.
Yeah, I think this
thing came up?
Yeah, this is breaking down.
Okay, cool. Well, that's bye-bye for now.
You can place this right here.
Okay, we're going to place that right there. Sorry, everybody. Mandatory technical. What are you going to do? Better. Okay, Omega says better. Fantastic. Let's go. Let's go. Let's see here. So those are some. I like this movie, Vincent Must Die. I definitely recommend it. I am looking forward to Project Hail Mary with Ryan Gosling, just because the people who are writing it and directing it are pretty incredible. Phil Lord, one of the guys who did this Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse stuff. So that would be kind of cool. If you had any questions, fantastic. If not, let's see here. We could stare at each other. I'm staring at you. You're staring at me.
Yeah, from online, you mentioned that Sworn Club might be getting some new revamps. Are there any updates that you have?
So I'm probably going to have more to say about Sworn Club revamp in the next 30 days. Truth be told, between Sworn Fest and moving and unpacking, it's taken up a little bit more time than you'd imagine. And then we add the Evil Ernie Omnibus series. It's been a busy time. However, I am obligated to start putting my attention on that in the next couple of weeks. So you're going to get more about that. This is not to say that there aren't plans and thoughts and potentials, but really it's my job then to kind of focus it all down onto what's new. So probably more on that by this time next month.
One of the questions from online was actually, will Empress Death and Lady Death meet up eventually in their storyline?
I do think that Lady Death and Empress Death will collide again. I can tell you that what I would love to do is we're putting out Empress Death Chapter 1 in April, and I would like to do Chapter 2 and Chapter 3, and then in Chapter 4, I'd like them to collide. Because I think in the Empress Death storyline, we're not talking about her origin, but we're talking about what went on between her becoming Empress Death and the storyline way in the future when she had killed off the great majority of the Earth. So we're kind of filling in those gaps. But we'd like her to meet again. Let's see here. It would be nice to get additional goodies each year for renewing Sworn Club membership. Clint Hobby, I can't agree with you more. I think that we have to give people a reason to re-up. We acknowledge that, and we're going to be working on just that. Let's see here. Trying not to take up question time. Will there be a preview of the Evil Ernie Omnibus prior to launch? I think it's a good question because an omnibus is a very ambitious printed material. I think that what we'll be able to show mock-ups of is what the omnibus would look like, the covers, possibly the slipcase, mock-ups of all the various merchandise. I can tell you that 100% for sure. We will have a launch party or a launch seance, and we should resurrect Evil Ernie in that seance launch party. But as far as the actual physical omnibus complete, I don't foresee us doing that, if only because the complexity of it. We'll actually have to pull it all together digitally, send it to the printer, and they're not going to print onesies for us. They have to print the run. So we can show you mock-ups of what it looks like, but I don't foresee being able to show you the real thing. Let's see here. Will Lady Gunfighter get an action figure? Yes. I'm spending time with Lady Death for Women's History Month. What a great way to do that. It's a great way to celebrate the month.
Another one, which villain or antagonist has been the greatest threat to Lady Death so far?
Who has been the greatest threat to Lady Death so far? Kind of depends. I think you have to read it and make up your own mind. I think the lingering threat right now is Insurrectus. If you read the storyline involving Insurrectus, arguably we saw him go somewhere. We didn't really see him die. So if he went somewhere and some time has passed, the question I begin to ask myself is, what is he doing? You know, he is so smart, he is so powerful. What is he formulating out there? I don't know. I think Insurrectus is the character to watch.
What makes Hellwitch one of the most dangerous characters?
So what makes Hellwitch one of the most dangerous characters in the Coffinverse is that she's completely, utterly immoral and not bound by ethics or morality. She might have an honor code, but she has no ethics, she has no morality, and that makes her dangerous because even Lady Death has a code of honor. Most of our other characters do, but Hellwitch is just completely amoral. So in that's very dangerous.
Does that make, with her not having any morals, how does that play with Lady Death's character of like them battling.
So the question is, with Hell Witch being immoral, how does that contrast with Lady Death in battle? Well, they're very interesting characters. Lady Death is a very cold character, and Hell Witch is a very warm, hot character. That's a contrast right off the bat. What Lady Death has to watch out for is the unseen and the unknown, because Hell Witch doesn't have any restraint. The good thing about Lady Death as a warrior is she's arguably she's over 800 years old. She's fought so many different battles. Even in our current storyline, she's actually forced to learn new weapons. So it makes her equally dangerous because she would anticipate her opponent to be immoral. You know, she has some background fighting Hell Witch several times, so she kind of knows who she's up against. Let's see here, another suggestion, or maybe Chastity against La Muerta. I think that's a good matchup from a power level. You know, I think too, when I think of, let's see here, when I think of La Muerta, perhaps an equivalent in the world of chaos would be Bad Kitty, street level vigilante types. So that would be kind of cool. Would you consider doing a one-shot comic of the Coffin Ladies in anime style? You know, it hasn't occurred to me, but we have something going on that's to come shortly in the vertical scroller arena. Can't quite say anymore, but I love the idea of our books being redone as vertical scrollers, webtoon style. So more on that. Have you heard of Devil May Cry? I have, but I haven't watched it. As far as like anime, the stuff that I've always enjoyed is everything by Go Nagai. So that includes Devilman. I like Demon City Shinzinko. I like Mazinger Z. Those are some of the ones that I've enjoyed a lot. I am not current or contemporary by any means. The stuff that I tend to enjoy is I like motion pictures, independently produced horror, science fiction, action. So my go-to forms are comic books, motion pictures, and books. Those are the first like entertainment forms that I really, really enjoy. I'm not particularly a sports person, nothing against them. You know, I like fitness, but I'm not watching too many sports. I will spend that exact amount of time reading a book or a comic book. There's endless amounts to read, and I'll take a good recommendation of anime for sure. Let's see here. No way Lady Death movie before a new Spawn movie. No idea. I mean, keep in mind that it's not, Coffin Comics is a comic book publisher. We put ink on paper and staple it, and that's our core competency. And the motion picture game requires a ton of money, a ton of people who want to make it, and the right deal hasn't come around. So far, not yet. So folks, I want to thank you so much for hanging out. Believe it or not, I got to go sign some comic books because you know how it goes with Brian Pulido. Sign. Y'all been great. Thanks for watching. I've been Brian Pulido. Holler at you later.